So, today we are getting started.
Astro.
Can I bring your attention to the fact that we started? So today we're looking into the graphing of cubic. And first, let's look into the most simple, just graph of y equal x cubed. So that's how this graph looks like. It has x and y intercepts going through 0, 0, obviously when x equals 0, y equals 0. What is special about this point 0, 0 for cubic graph? This point will be stationary point of inflection. Called stationary point of inflection. What does it mean? Before 0, 0, if you see it's going like this. It's going like this. It called it concave down. After 0, 0, what happened with the graph? It starts going like this. That is inflection. When it's going from being concave down, change to concave up. That's what happens at 0, 0. That's called stationary point of inflection. Much more about those things.
So 0, 0, the stationary point
of inflection, yes. Where graph change its behavior from going like this to going like this. We will learn more about that when we will be doing differentiation. We'll start learning calculus. We'll learn more about stationary points. For now, just this. Now, what transformations we can do with this graph? We can do, let's say, translation. So if you want to sketch the graph of y equal x minus 2 cube plus 9 plus 8. What this will do with this graph?
The stationary point goes to 8.
No, the whole graph will move 2 to the right and 8 up.
Yeah, which
Now to sketch the graph, what we will need to find, first point of inflection will be now 2, 8. So that is from what was 0, 0, this stationary point of inflection will move from 0, 0 to 2, 8. What else we need to find to make graph complete? X and y intercept. Let's start from the y-intercept. X equals 0. We'll get y equals 0. So x and y intercept will be 0, 0. So that will be the graph. You need, when you're graphing, you show this like for inflection, like this. That will be graph translated 2 to the right and 8. Yes. Question? 2 to the right and 8 up.
This is what to kind of what to draw.
Hard.
It's only if you suck it.
Make sense? Now, another example of this graph. Now, when in general we can write it as y equal a x minus h cubed plus
This is kind of hard to
k.
draw.
Because it can be dilated, can be reflected, a can be negative. So with the reflection and h is horizontal, give it hk will be the point of stationary point of inflection. So let's get the graph y equal negative 2 x plus 1 cubed minus 4. So what minus will do with the graph?
Reflect.
In
Y.
x, reflecting x-axis. We put minus in front of the whole thing,
okay.
so it flips around the x-axis. So graph, that's what it was. Now it's
like that.
flipped, so it becomes like this. Now next, what happened? One left and
Down.
4 down. So we have point of inflection will be -1, -4, -1, -4, and we need to find x and y intercepts. X equals 0. X equals 0. We'll have -2, -4. Y equals -6. 0 plus 1, 1, 1 cubed. 1 minus 2 minus 4 minus 6. Let's take y equals 0. We'll get -2x plus 1 cubed minus 4 equals 0. So we get -2x plus 1 cubed equals 4. So x plus 1 cubed equal -2. So x plus 1 equal negative cubic root of 2, because cubic root of -2 is same as negative cubic root of 2. And so finally x equal -1 minus cubic root of 2 will be something like -2 something. So we have -6 y-intercept and x-intercept somewhere about here. So that is the graph with this point is 0, -4. This point is -1 minus cubic root of 2. 0. Make sense?
Isn't it 0, -6?
That's the rockets.
Oh, in 0, yeah. This is -4, this is -6.
Let's go rocket.
This is -6.
Bro,
So-
Steph Curry's so bad.
How many, when the cubic graph, when the cubic is in this form, how many x-intercepted it will always have? How? 1. It is impossible for cubic not to have any x-intercepts. And when it's cubic can be made in this form, it will have 1 x-intercept. So solution to the equation of this equals 0, how many solutions it will have?
One.
1 solution. So if you will factorize it, think, if you will factorize it, what will be the result of the factorization? One will be linear factor, let's say x-intercept,
The other one like won't work.
and another one will be what?
It'll be like it's x squared
Will be
plus something equals
non-factorable quadratic.
Oh, I thought it was like
There will be
Yeah, that's
non-factorable
right.
quadratics. We will have linear factor which gives you x-intercept times by non-factorable quadratics. So there will be no more x-intercepts.
that was that in the homework.
Now, let's consider the inverse function to x cubed. What will be the inverse function?
X equal.
So how we find an inverse? Yeah, so
X-
Not wrong.
we do
Y equals
x
root of x.
equals y cube. So what y equal?
Cube of x.
Cubic.
X in the power 1/3, or it's the same as cubic root of x. And how we get the graph of the inverse function from the graph of the origin?
Reflected across y equals x.
Reflecting the line y equal x. And x and y intercept swaps, but 0, 0 swaps to 0, 0. So this graph will look like
Oh, fudge. I mean,
that will be cubic graph of the cubic root of x. There is no asymptotic behavior. That will be cubic root of x.
So strange.
If you reflect and y equals x, and
Okay.
if I will sketch on the same axis the graph of the x cube, what will be the intersection between those graphs?
Well, that looks like.
Wait.
I've seen that before.
They will be where if
I'm not sure.
function and inverse function intersect, where they always intersect,
Y equals X.
on y equals x. So we can solve, instead of solving cubic root of x equals x cubed, we can solve what we can solve instead of this is the inverse function, this is original. To find the intersection, we equalize them. But
Yeah.
what is the easier way? Equalize to what? To x. So if you solve x cubed equals x, so x cubed minus x equals 0, x common factor, x squared minus 1 equals 0, and x squared minus 1 factorizes to x minus 1 times x plus 1, difference of 2 squares. So we get 3 points of intersection, -1, 0, and 1. So they intersect at -1, -1, 0, 0, and 1, 1.
You make Y, you make how do you make it from Y equals X, and then you
Okay,
do
x
from there.
cubed equals x. That would move it to the left, so it makes it equal 0.
Now,
Right? Because that's x plus
one more question.
Cube root of X, you
Uh,
get X cubed.
Let's sketch the graph of y equal negative 2 cubic root of 2 minus x plus 1.
Oh, cool.
So, what this minus does
Reflect
Across the
in
x-axis.
x-axis, what this does,
Reflect it across the Y axis.
and why? So,
That just makes it.
what we should do before we start in sketching, what we should do here?
Take out the negative.
Take negative as a common factor. You need to write negative 2 cubic root minus x minus 2 plus 1.
Yes.
Why we need to do that?
It's easier
To make
The
x
coefficient of
coefficient
x.
1.
Coefficient of x, we made it positive 1. Why? What it tells us now?
The translation.
The
Translation.
yeah.
What is the horizontal translation?
2 to the right.
2 to the right. If you look on this one,
It will be confusing
you might
if
be
it said to the-
confused with the 2 to the left.
X, Y.
That's why you need to make coefficient of x positive 1. And if we do cubic root graph, if we will flip it into the x-axis, that will be like this. And if you then flip it in y-axis, what we'll get? Same graph. We'll get exactly the same graph. So we need the same graph, we just need to translate 2 to the right and 1 up. So we'll have the point 2, 1. And let's find the y-intercept. What will be y-intercept? X equals 0.
It'll be like
Negative 2 cubic root of 2 plus 1.
Wait, why would you bring the negative out of the cube root?
And make the negative,
Hmm?
what, 2 cube root.
Can you bring the negative out of the cube root? So you just cancel the negative.
As a cubic root, you're right, we can do it.
Would that just be 2 cube?
We can do because it's odd power, we can do that, and it simplifies to
close to negative.
2 cubic root of x minus 2 plus 1. So then we will have x equals 0, but then this will be minus 2, so we still have
1.3.
y equal negative 2 cubic root of 2
These guys.
plus 1.
Say you take this graph back.
So that will be a
LQ.
little bit negative. And x-intercept, we get cubic root of x minus 2, 2 cubic root equal negative 1. So cubic root of x minus 2 equal negative 1/2. With cubic, yes.
Confused how you got rid of the
Very
negative.
young.
Huh?
How did you get rid of the negative at x minus 2?
We take, when we have root of negative, odd order, like 3, we take cubic, what is cubic root of negative 1?
Clutch.
Negative it can take, it will be same as negative cubic root of 1.
points.
When it's odd
Who you got,
power,
Boris?
we can take that. We cannot do it with the even power, with odd we can. So we will have that x minus 2 equals negative 1/8. So x equal 2 minus 1/8, 15 on 8. So we'll be somewhere here. So that what will be the graph. Something like this. That will be our cubic graph. Okay, that's how we sketch the cubic graphs in this form. Like, subscribe, and donate to help fight terrorist countries and organizations, Russia, Iran, etc. Support Ukraine and Israel.